A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, published in 2019, is not just a successful debut novel by British author Holly Jackson. It's the first book that launched her incredibly popular and award-winning young adult detective series. This novel quickly captivated readers worldwide, including in Ukraine, thanks to its gripping, multi-layered plot, deeply developed and realistic characters, and unexpected plot twists that maintain suspense until the very last page. It's the story of a curious and unyielding high school student who, driven by a strong inner conviction, undertakes an investigation into a long-forgotten and seemingly closed crime, ultimately uncovering a horrifying truth about her quiet, seemingly perfect town. The setup: a capstone project as a mission for justice, reopening a closed tragedy. At the heart of the narrative is Pippa Fitzamobi, universally known as Pip. She's an exemplary yet unconventional senior high school student, distinguished not only by her high academic achievements, but also by her sharp mind, logical thinking, and unusual determination. For her capstone project, which was supposed to be a mere formality, Pip chooses a topic that shocks her teachers, classmates, and even her family: the 5-year-old murder of Andy Bell and Sal Singh. The official version of events, accepted by the entire town of Little Kilton and enshrined as local tragic folklore, is that Sal Singh, Andy's boyfriend, brutally murdered her in a fit of rage or for some other motive, and then, unable to bear the guilt and consequences, committed suicide. The case was officially closed, and Sal Singh was posthumously declared guilty, his name forever associated with evil and tragedy. However, Pip never believed this convenient story. She knew Sal personally, remembering him as a kind, shy, responsible person utterly incapable of such a brutal murder. For her, this version was not only unjust, but profoundly wrong. Her project is much more than a mere school assignment. It's a deeply personal mission, bordering on obsession, to clear Sal's good name, prove his innocence, and, most importantly, find the real perpetrator who, in her conviction, is still at large, hiding among the residents of Little Kilton. Pip realizes that by revisiting this closed case, she risks facing not only misunderstanding and hostility from a community unwilling to stir up the past, but also real danger from someone who has something to hide. Yet, her unwavering pursuit of justice and innate detective's intuition are stronger than any fear. Her investigation begins with a meticulous and systematic study of all available official documents: police reports, interrogation transcripts, forensic conclusions, medical reports, and newspaper clippings from that time. She approaches the task with an almost professional methodology and thoroughness that the police seem to lack. Pip creates a detailed journal, or rather, a multimedia project log, in which she records all her thoughts, hypotheses, interview results, timelines of events, and new findings. She uses a voice recorder to capture conversations, photographs evidence, and creates mind maps connecting people and events. This journal becomes not only her primary tool for organizing information, but also a guide for the reader, allowing them to follow her logic, deductive processes, numerous theories, and the evolution of her hypotheses step by step, creating an immersive experience of the investigation. The plot develops, unraveling a web of lies and town secrets. At the very beginning of her dive into the past, Pip realizes she needs help from within, someone who shares her belief in Sal's innocence. She approaches Ravi Singh, Sal's younger brother. Ravi, like Pip, never believed the official story. He has lived with the immense burden of shame cast upon his family by the unjustified accusations against his brother, and he desperately wants to clear Sal's name but lacked the means and resources to do so. Although he initially expresses skepticism about a high school student investigating a case the police couldn't solve, he quickly becomes convinced of Pip's serious intent. Ravi becomes not just an interviewee for Pip, but an indispensable partner in the investigation, her primary contact person within the Singh family. He grants her access to family archives, shares personal memories of his brother and Andy, which helps Pip construct a more complete psychological profile of Sal and his relationships. Crucially, he also provides invaluable emotional support when the investigation becomes particularly arduous and acts as her guardian in dangerous situations. Their interaction is pivotal to the plot's development, demonstrating the importance of collaboration and mutual trust in the face of injustice. Pip and Ravi meticulously begin to re-examine every detail, every fact noted in police reports and testimonies. They quickly uncover numerous discrepancies and blind spots in the official version. For example, Pip notices odd details regarding the location where Andy's body was found. It was in a place where Sal, according to his reported movements and alibi, shouldn't have gone. This raises the first doubts about the veracity of the official data. Also, the SMS message Sal sent Ravi before his alleged death seems strange, illogical, and completely uncharacteristic of Sal's communication style. It was too brief and unspecific. These seemingly minor details gradually begin to unravel a massive tangle of lies and deception that shrouded the case. The main part of Pip's investigation involves interviewing witnesses, both those who previously testified to the police and those who, for some reason, were overlooked. She speaks with a wide range of people connected to the case: Andy's closest friends, her family, parents, brother, school teachers, neighbors, and even those who were previously considered suspects by the police, but whose versions were not thoroughly investigated or were quickly dismissed. During these interviews, Pip gradually uncovers Andy Bell's double life. The girl, whom everyone in town considered perfect, popular, and sweet, actually hid a multitude of dark secrets. It turns out she had a secret relationship with an older man. Her teacher was involved in drug problems, selling them, had numerous conflicts and disputes with some peers, and may have even been involved in other illegal and unsavory activities that could tarnish her perfect image. Each new testimony, each new piece of evidence Pip finds, be it a forgotten diary, a secret message, or an inconsistency in a witness's story, not only answers some questions but also raises new ones, further complicating the overall picture. She learns about illicit parties, hidden connections with local drug dealers, blackmail, and jealousy among Andy's classmates. It becomes clear that Andy had many enemies, and her death could have benefited many people who wished to conceal their own secrets. Pip concludes that the police might have rushed to judgment, too easily believing the obvious version, or, even worse, deliberately ignored or concealed certain facts to quickly close a high-profile case and restore peace to the town. This aspect of the novel critiques the inefficiency and potential corruption within law enforcement, especially in small towns. The climax, mortal danger and the exposure of a hidden brutal truth. The deeper Pip delves into her detective work, the more dangerous it becomes. Her actions attract the attention of the real killer, who seemingly senses that their years-old secret, meticulously buried under layers of lies and oblivion, is under immediate threat. Pip begins to receive anonymous threats, which start as subtle hints and then escalate into direct intimidation and threats of physical harm. These threats escalate from verbal warnings, e.g., anonymous letters, notes, to real physical dangers that put her life and Ravi's life in immediate peril. However, despite the escalating fear and danger, Pip does not back down. Her determination intensifies as she realizes that this is no longer just a school project, but a fight for life and justice that has now personally affected her. The climax of the novel arrives when Pip, through her tireless work and logical reasoning, pieces together all the fragments of the puzzle. Her deduction, supported by the evidence found, such as hidden diaries, records of phone calls, inconsistencies in alibis, and testimonies, leads her to an absolutely shocking and horrifying conclusion. Sal was merely a scapegoat, a convenient victim to cover for the real perpetrator. The true killer of Andy is Kenny Bell, her own father, who had an impeccable reputation in town. It turns out that Kenny was involved in a massive and profitable drug trafficking network in Little Kilton, as well as exploiting minors for his purposes. Andy either accidentally or deliberately learned about her father's criminal activities, and may have intended to expose him or blackmail him. When she threatened to reveal his secrets, Kenny, in a fit of rage or desperation, killed her. Sal Singh, being an innocent witness to Kenny's crime, for example, he might have witnessed the moment Andy was killed or possessed information about Kenny's drug business, became the next victim. Kenny killed Sal to prevent him from telling the truth, and then masterfully staged his suicide, using external circumstances that could easily be made to fit the official narrative. After all, Sal was Andy's boyfriend. He successfully exploited the public's and police's prejudices, creating a convincing motive of murder out of jealousy, knowing that most would readily accept such a simplified version of events, especially given Sal's ethnicity. Pip and Ravi find themselves in a deadly trap when Kenny Bell realizes how close they have come to the truth. He tries to stop them, resorting to threats and violence, physically pursuing them. This episode demonstrates not only Pip's quick wit, but also her extraordinary courage and resourcefulness in a critical situation. She, along with Ravi, masterfully exposes Kenny, using his own mistakes, his panic, and her acquired knowledge of the case, as well as the recordings on her voice recorder, which become the crucial piece of evidence. The resolution, the cost of justice, and irreversible changes. In the novel's finale, thanks to Pip and Ravi's incredible efforts, Kenny Bell is exposed. Confronted with the irrefutable evidence Pip has gathered, including audio recordings of his confession, he confesses to the murders of both his daughter Andy and Sal. Justice, which everyone believed impossible, finally prevails. Sal Singh's name is officially cleared of the terrible accusations, and his family can finally begin the process of healing from years of grief, stigmatization, and condemnation that hung over them. It's a moment of immense relief and triumph for Pip and Ravi, but also a bitter realization of how much pain and injustice could have been avoided. However, this victory comes at a very high cost for Pip. The investigation into this dark and brutal case leaves a deep and indelible mark on her psyche, emotional state, and worldview. She confronts the worst manifestations of human nature: lies, violence, betrayal, indifference, and hypocrisy. Her idealistic perception of a world where justice always triumphs and the police always protect is shattered. Pip realizes that the world is not as safe and simple as she once believed, and that even in the quietest, seemingly perfect places, horrifying secrets can hide. She begins to understand that she cannot always fully rely on official authorities, and that sometimes, to achieve truth, one must act outside established rules, risking everything. This experience changes her, making her more cynical but at the same time stronger, wiser, and more adapted to harsh realities. She ceases to be a good girl in the conventional sense, acquiring a new, more complex character. Themes and significance: a deep social commentary and psychological portrait. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson is a significant work in the young adult detective genre, as it transcends a simple, entertaining plot by addressing a range of complex and socially important themes. The pursuit of truth and justice against the system. The central theme is Pip's uncompromising quest for truth, even when society, and most importantly, law enforcement, refuses to seek it. The novel emphasizes the importance of independent investigation and perseverance, demonstrating that one person with enough determination and intellect can overturn an unjust verdict that seemed final. This raises questions about the moral responsibility of the community and its individual members towards the wrongly accused or forgotten victim. Prejudice and social injustice. Sal Singh's case is a stark example of how easily prejudice, based on ethnicity or social status, can lead to unfair accusations and ruined lives. The Singh family, as a minority in a predominantly white town, automatically became objects of suspicion, and their guilt was readily accepted. The novel shows how public opinion, based on superficial assumptions and stereotypes, can destroy the reputation and lives of an entire family. Secrets and deception in a small town. Jackson masterfully exposes the dark, festering underbelly of an ideal and idyllic town, where numerous secrets, lies, betrayals, and hidden crimes lurk beneath a facade of calm and virtue. This is a powerful reminder that what appears on the surface often starkly differs from the true, often ugly, reality. The role and influence of media and public opinion. The book touches upon the significant influence of media in shaping public opinion and its ability to create a certain narrative that then becomes truth for the majority, even if it doesn't align with reality. The novel demonstrates how difficult it is to later change this entrenched viewpoint, especially when it's convenient and doesn't require further investigation. Psychological consequences of investigation. Holly Jackson does not ignore the profound psychological consequences that such a deep dive into the criminal underworld has on a young girl. She realistically portrays Pip's emotional struggle, her vulnerability, her trauma, and the irreversible change in her worldview after confronting brutality. This lends the character depth, realism, and allows the reader to empathize with her internal transformations. Family relationships and loss. An important subplot is the impact of the crime and injustice on the Singh family, their immense grief, and their tireless fight for Sal's honor. The novel emphasizes the importance of family ties, mutual support, and resilience during difficult times. Moral dilemmas. Pip faces many moral dilemmas. Is it worth risking one's own life for the truth? Do the ends always justify the means, especially when the law proves ineffective? These questions make the novel not just a detective story but a philosophical reflection on justice and personal ethics. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is not merely a captivating and dynamic story that keeps the reader on edge until the very end, but also a deep, multifaceted exploration of human nature, moral choices, the consequences of prejudice, and the complexity of seeking justice in a world where nothing is as simple as it seems at first glance. It's a book that compels readers to ponder and actively discuss its themes long after finishing the last page, leaving a lasting impression.